In a fast evolving world where new information and technologies keep emerging rapidly, the need to keep learning is important for you to stay relevant in whatsoever it is you are doing. You have to keep growing personally, professionally, just to be relevant in whatsoever you're doing. Hi, good morning. This is today's live on Equa Television International. My name is Jemima Emmanuel, and today, every Thursday we talk about education. And the topic today is lifelong learning. Lifelong learning, that learning that never stops. And I'm not doing this alone. I have with me Solomon Sambo. Good morning.
Good morning, Jemima.
Last man standing. Last man standing.
First and last
How
man
do you
standing.
cope?
We thank God. Special grace of God.
Okay.
Joyce
Grace
Jakada,
is
good
sufficient.
morning.
Morning, Jemima. Thank you
Prudence,
for greeting me as essential yesterday.
Yesterday, right?
Wow.
Did you see the eye that
I
Solomon
was
Sambo used to
shouting
look at you?
morning. I saw they were attacking you now, but they will not understand. There's this connection about
Exactly.
JJ.
Do you get?
When they change their name, they will connect. But for now, they will still keep flowing.
Solomon.
Yes.
Prudence,
um,
like,
I'm
good
talking-
morning.
yeah,
Good
but-
morning. Good morning.
I thought we were sharing the set.
Do you have a J?
Wow.
Oh, you want a J?
Just wow.
You should have
Just
a J
wow.
in your life.
I have a J in my
Jesus.
life.
Jesus in
I don't even have a J. I have like J's in my
So
life.
Prudence J Burga.
Maybe we should dash
just
out
because
See.
it is not written in my name does not mean it is not there.
Okay.
Is prudent burger, Jesus baby.
All of us are
Generation
Jesus.
Red ring bearer.
Generation rep. It's not ring bearer. It's rep.
Jemima, you see the reason why Oga will say you.
Yeah, I don't even understand Jemima these days, so she's becoming violent.
Very
No,
violent.
I'm
Yesterday-
calm.
Yeah,
Thank-
You
thank God-
know.
thank God-
Listen to Prudence. Look at me.
Prudence, Prudence,
to me yesterday.
just
When you are talking about marriage,
Prudence
I
does not
forgot.
forgive and forget.
Wow, we went through
She
that.
did that to me on set
Face to
yesterday. Face to face.
I
on my
did
face.
what?
sometimes you need.
But
Sometimes you need a
but
push.
I
Sometimes you need a push.
wow.
No, don't
Okay.
get
Sometimes you need a push.
I'm not intimidated.
Please
I
get-
have
Don't be
get
worried to push
resilience.
With all due respect, get intimidated.
I have resilience.
Some no-
I'm sure you're not ready to start sewing clothes with zip in front.
I'm not at all.
Enjoy your beautiful gowns.
Zip front, back,
Enjoy
anyone.
your
So
6
it's-
inches. If not, the flat shoe you start wearing. oh.
Honestly.
Jemima,
So
they want to
I'm,
attack
I'm
you.
very
I
resilient.
shall not be attacked.
Start seeing yourself. All this hair that you're flying now. Very soon, start packing them to go and rolling
Are you
them.
sure I'll not change my name from J?
Okay.
Because I don't understand the whole thing.
What are we talking about?
Lifelong learning.
Good. I'm
Yes.
just trying to. This is also part of lifelong learning.
Honestly.
Prepare yourself.
Exactly.
True.
Don't
Because-
rush.
Don't rush. When you rush,
Mhm.
you start. Your zip will reach down.
So that
And
you
part of-
happily
And you
have
see,
the
part
zip in
of the
front.
learning, you are to just sit down quietly, watch, observe, and follow us.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
While we give you notes.
Follow who
But
know
where's
road.
the book?
Follow who know road.
My goodness.
Yes. So lifelong learning that never stops. A lot of times you hear people say, well, I have gone to school, I have my degree, I have my master's, I have 2 PhDs. I have learned enough.
Mm.
But then when we talk about lifelong learning, it's not just in the 4 walls of school,
Mm.
both formal and informal
Informal.
learning.
Mm.
Because there are certain things that you cannot learn in the classroom.
Sure.
You have to go to the streets and learn them. You have to learn from people's experiences. It's not just about writing and listening to others.
Mm.
So I feel that lifelong learning is all encompassing, touching every corner, every side of life, everything that it teaches you. And earlier on when I started, I said it helps you to remain relevant. Imagine if you don't know an idea of, if you don't have an idea of this and that, how do you want to remain important? When you apply for jobs now, you hear people saying you need to have this and this and this. But if you also have that and that,
You have an added
you have an added advantage. That is the
advantage.
lifelong learning. So you have to go out. You have to go all out and help yourself learn this and that. It is a very competitive market,
out
or
there.
better still, it is a very competitive world out there. Everybody's looking for the best. Even when you have 5 people that are the best, they still want to check because they can't take the 5 people. Probably they cannot pay them all. So if they want 2, they have to still scrutinize among those 5 to really find the
What
best.
exactly
So
they're
lifelong learning is
This got me really thinking lifelong learning, because I remember back then in school, sometimes you get overwhelmed, you get exhausted, and you're like, God, why wouldn't I just drop out so that I can enjoy life like every other person out there that is partying, that is chilling, that is just sleeping, waking up, instead of doing all of this assignment, dealing with presentations, waiting for exams and all of that. But the consolation was always at the goal where one is actually headed. And sometimes we find comfort knowing the fact that last anyhow that they do this thing, the next 2 years I'm done, the next 1 year I'm done. And but today we're talking about learning that does not stop. And then you can just get scary, like imagine how then in school your only consolation was that by December I'm done. And this one we're talking about learning that does not stop. I mean, someone said if you stop learning, you stop living or existing. And it's very true. You can't live in a world that daily nothing comes in. And that is why sometimes when you see somebody that starts feeling I have arrived, you pity the person, because compared to what? We are in a world that things are evolving daily. And so you are feeling you have arrived compared to what? Technological advancement today in various fields. I had opportunity to interact with a carpenter lately, and I was like, wow, do you know when I contracted you for this work, I was thinking that you're going to go through all of this process. I didn't even know that now there's technological advancement in this area that you just buy already made things and all you do is just to fix it. Instead of then you buy wood that's like plain wood, you have to go and file it, you have to do these paints
Shape
and
it,
all
the
of.
rest
So
the
I did not
stress.
even know that now you don't even need to spray anything. Save, they are already made. So imagine you thinking that you that graduated in 2010 or in 2000 and you are feeling you have arrived at 2000. I've attained. Do you know when I attained my PhD? So imagine from 2000 to 2024 the things that have evolved even in your own field, and you say you have reached the climax. You are no longer open to learning. I tell people daily that embedded in everybody's greatness, there's something that a small child can do, and you will learn from that particular thing. You learn patience. You can learn like a lot of things to learn as we live daily. Sometimes when you talk about lifelong learning, it's not something that you just restrict to the formal learning, conventional universities and school. But now we talk about learning as you live. It's a continuous learning in area of skills development. It is all about learning, unlearning, and relearning. That daily as I live my life, there's something that I add up to my being. I don't just get to a point and say, even if it's academically, don't just get a diploma and stop there. Strive for more. So because when we talk about, sometimes I tell people, it all bounds back to our idea of school or education generally. I hear some people shout, "Oh, school na scam, school is scam," and all. What is your idea? What's your purpose of going there? Somebody thinks that the whole aim of going to school is just to obtain certificate. What about relationship you build? What about the people, the connection? What about like the interaction? What about the experiences that you get? So sometimes some of the jobs, some of the people we know today, it is not because we grew up in the same environment with them, but the education we acquired opened the platform that today we can make calls to certain people and they can help us handle certain things. Because it was education that opened the way for that relationship. It gave access. But we always limit learning to acquiring certificate. And that is why people graduate from school and they are just stranded. But if your goal of going is to learn, is to add value to yourself, is to impact the world around you, then you see every opportunity. You don't just go and say, hey, the lecturer is not around. Hey, you know, once they just say he's not coming. Hey, especially those last lectures. after staying from 8 o'clock till 2, the
Two.
last one 2 to 4,
Four.
you now hear he said he's
Four
not
to
coming.
six.
Well, he's apologizing because he cannot make it today.
And you
He
are
should
happy.
not worry. There's no need to apologize. That's
forgiving.
anyone to go. No, but if you strive to learn, if you strive to add value to your life, you'll be like, how can I come to school today and then there's just nothing? It amazed me that there are adults today that will go to school with the expectation that lecture should not hold. There are people that will go to work like and not do anything different. Like it is what we have been doing 20 years ago now. So what am I adding again? But shihaka, leave it like that. That's the way we with even technological advancement. Look at the example I give about carpentry, how that these things have evolved. If those people say that we know to build a house or to roof, it's just to get wood, ply it, do this. No, but somebody thought that, can we make these things easy? There are people that want to get their structure in 3 months. There are people that want roofing, but they want it to be done in 2 days. So how can we have already made materials that people will not have to go through all of this process? And they came up with that idea. So in your own area of your own career, your own profession, in your life generally, be that person that will strive to keep learning. Learning should be lifelong. So be it, you mentioned streets, it shouldn't even be about just books alone. But then, even as you interact with people, your experiences, like it should be basis for you learning and building up. Don't just sit down and converse with Sambo Solomon and you leave without adding value to him or him adding value to you. So let it be about, let's not live our lives like we're just existing, but strive always to learn, unlearn, and relearn.
You know, something that Joy said, right? About you in your profession and you're not learning, you're not adding new knowledge to yourself. Over time, you become, for lack of better words, non-entities. So here's the thing, right? While I was in school, a number of our lecturers kept on telling us, so I'm teaching you the basics, right? But when you get out of this place, you are literally going to see more than you can even picture or imagine. And some of us thought he was joking. Then we went for IT and we came back and he said, so how was your internship? And everybody started laughing because what we saw was like exactly what he said. And he said, and this is what it is. Life in itself is always changing, so you would constantly keep on learning. So we know that some of the cliches that we say in school, she mentioned one, school is scam. Another one is after these exams, I would not read.
Signboard.
I will read.
Honestly, so we have all these cliches we had in school. I pretty much did not have that because I knew that even after school I would still find myself reading materials because I love to read something. Whether it is educative or not, I just want to read.
Me, I can't wait to finish.
So
I will not say the rest, but once it's exam, I can't wait to finish.
but here's the thing, right? Life in itself is learning. You learn every day. You wake up every day and you learn new things. Some of the best experiences in my life was while I was learning something. It was the pleasure of being able to finish this thing and you're looking at the result and you're like, is this me? Did I just do this? And it's pleasing because you learned something. You've added to your knowledge. You've added to the wealth of knowledge that you have. I read a lot of books and there are sometimes that if I find myself using some of the words I read from books
We used to know.
in my vocabulary, I'm
We
like,
used to know.
I'm proud of you, girl. But that's just a pleasure. Someone once told me, so I do a little bit of sewing, and I said, I did not even finish the classes, but if I finish learning, you will not believe it. So then this person said, finish learning. If you finish learning, I'm not going to patronize you. Then I said, why did you say it that way? And he said, if you finish learning, that means over time this skill that you have acquired will be redundant and people will not even want to patronize you anymore. So you keep on learning, especially in the field, in the fashion industry, in the communication industry. these are things that keep evolving. They keep changing. And if you're not opening your mind to better opportunities, you would not get nowhere. In skills, a lot of times you find people doing intermediaries, you find them doing professional courses, you find they're going back to learn more and more. Can they not do it? They are excellent. They are in fact, you see their work and you're like, why exactly are you even going back to school again? But when they come out, you see the difference. You see the edge that they've added. The knowledge has given them another edge. So when it is said that you bloom where you are planted, it is that you continuously learn so that over time you don't become redundant. You don't become a non-entity, but you keep growing and bettering yourself. That is what lifelong learning all entails. And I'm going to delve into the scriptures again. So somebody will not think that I'm just talking from the secular point of view, but look at it from the scriptures. Even the Bible enforces wisdom, understanding, learning. He said, learn, so study so that you would make yourself approved. He then said, study so that you can answer everyone as he needs, as need applies. Paul went an extra mile to say something like, oh, so when you were a kid, you were fed milk and all that, but now you're an adult, you should begin to take solid food. I expect that by the time I arrived, you're already taking solid food. You're talking about learning every part, every day, every time, in fact, learning is something that should not stop. You're learning physically, mentally, spiritually, you're learning in all ramifications. You can't say that you're learning just in one aspect of life. Even morally, there are certain things that you have been doing all this while, and you have to unlearn it because you found out that, okay, you're not doing it right in the first place. So I need to reconstruct myself. I need to redirect myself. And then you relearn something else that will fill up that gap that you created from unlearning certain things. So learning is a thought process that we should continuously have in our minds and in our activities every day.
Pain is what every human being goes through every day until we die. Is either the pain of you building yourself to make impact, or the pain of you not allowing yourself to learn, to grow. And that pain is regret. So you have to choose between these two pains that is constant. So when you choose to open your heart and to be deliberate, to be conscious of your calling, to be conscious of your existence, to open up your heart to say, I want to grow, I want to learn in all angle of life, so that when I'm beginning to make impact, people will begin to feel it. Or you neglect this first part and live with the pain of regret that you refuse to build yourself, to grow, to make impact. Because the regret would always come when they're supposed to feel your impact and the impact is not there. And the opportunity has presented itself right from the onset, but it's just a matter of choice. So we just have to be deliberate and be conscious and choose that pain of us allowing ourselves to be drilled, to go through learning process in whatever aspect of life that we have chosen, either academically or otherwise. Because we always have reasons why we choose one thing or the other. Like, for instance, the carpentry that she's talking about. If the guy said, okay, this is the part I chose, and then the normal conventional pattern that we know is for you to just go start looking for, they will tell you 2 by 2, they will tell you plank, you need plank, you need this particular nail, and so on and so forth. And then you will see the process. It takes longer time for them to bring out this. But now,
And the
like you
equipments are
said, you know,
heavier.
the world is evolving, you know, and people are just thinking how to make life like easy for human beings. Like we always say, to some, it's not just the money aspect of it, but for the fact that Joyce provides this solution and people are using it, she is fulfilled. That's just for some, and that's why I talk about purpose. Why are you created in the first place? And just imagine yourself that today you are 40, but sir, we just have to pick you from one point of the parlor to another. You are not even walking, like you're crawling. And even the crawling, somebody have to just carry you. Can you imagine if you are a father or a mother? Just imagine giving birth to a child that today, just imagine a child is 1 year and he doesn't show a sign of like ta, like they say it in this part of the world, like showing a sign like he want to take one step at a time. You will see how the mother will be disturbed, will be worried. You understand? Talk more of 2 years, 3 years. The child is just crawling. You can imagine the pain from the parent and anybody that is related to that particular child. You understand? Because why am I saying this? It's been expected for us to grow. It's a must. It's not even an option. But you can choose whichever way, either to grow positively or negatively. Negatively comes with regret, just like the way I portray. Is this time around is a choice for you. You just choose that path. But ideally, the plan of God, this is how it is. That's why, you know, without learning, there's no wisdom.
Where will the wisdom come?
Do you get? Without learning, there's no wisdom. So you have been expected always to have an open heart, and that's why it is very key. It is very important that we should adopt the process of learning and see it is one of the integral part of our creation. That God made it is a mandatory that you just have to grow. But you see, where we normally have problem is the issue of speed and competition. So we always miss it. Most people. So if Joyce can read 1,000 words in 1 minute, and I can't, and I try my best, right? All that I need to do is to try my possible best to see that where me and her started, I'm not still there. At least I've moved one each. That's just it. At least is there improvement in your reading speed? Yes. Are you meeting up to her speed? No. Because she have a different grace and she have a different training. Right? So we should understand that. Know your strength and grab it and work with it with patience. And that's
I
why
like the fact that you even brought that sample,
Yes.
because the point of failure, that's the point of failure. When you keep competing with someone else, when you set someone as your standard. I'm not talking about mentorship right now, but I'm talking about how that people place envy up and above learning.
jealousy.
Instead of you to learn from, okay, I admire where this person is, and I really pray to God that someday I will get there. But that's not what you are thinking. Your mindset is that person will come down, will crash, the business will,
Then you
then
will
you
overtake.
will
Then you
be.
overtake.
Now, when you think like that, there are people that even their engagement in learning, for example, academically, is not because they want to acquire the knowledge. They want to grow beyond where they are. They want to add to what they already have. But because there is somebody in their field or in the workplace that has this qualification, and then they also want to beat the person up, or they want to be above, or they want to equal the person, and person decide to go and learn, you're just setting yourself up for doom.
Sure.
Because sometimes I keep telling people, as you're thinking, if you're thinking in that direction, you do not know the plans of the other person. So imagine as you are there, maybe the person is already engaged in one online courses and is doing for example, a PhD. you are trying to let me beat his degree or his diploma this, and he has already. There are grace that God has given certain people. You can't fight them. I tell people daily, let yourself, your version of yesterday should that should be your competition. I want to be better than who I was yesterday. Daily, as you reminisce on your daily activities and what you have done, like, can you sit and say, Kai, I want to do better. Like, if in this field things are evolving, how can I also grow at this thing that I'm doing? Not to see that God has given you the ability to sew people's clothes, and you're saying, Kai, I've been seeing this person has been handling camera and you have been getting money, contract level. I will drop this, I will go and you go and borrow money or go and get a loan and buy camera, and say, every day you go, it's either they steal the camera or at the end something happen, or material of people that you cover their wedding will crash, one thing or the other, because that is not your own area. Do you understand? So it's
But
it's
it's
just
honest.
How do you make example with somebody's 40 years for marriage crash?
No, but it happens.
No,
But
it
it's
really
just
does
important. It's important
There
that
are some that
we
will cover
strive.
the whole event,
Yes.
and after everything they
They
realize
did not record this. They didn't press record. They were
Yes.
busy going about with the camera, but they
Yes.
didn't even press
Yes.
record.
And it's
So because
busy.
that's not your calling. So it's just important that we look at ourselves and being a better version of who we are. You set yourself up by competing with another person. I've seen a lot of people suffer because they are trying to be another person. I remember one time General Secretary of ECWA was talking about how that some young people at a conference were asking, we as ECWA or as a denomination, why are we not doing
like the
this
other-
that is happening in so church? And this was his response. When we do that, we only become second version of those people, because you are just saying, why are we not doing something that those people are doing? What we are doing is what is making us ECWA, is what made us ECWA. And funny enough, they started singing a song, and while trying to welcome him, or after he was done, Yakuka Genshi ECWA, Anchin Shifa ECWA. That's his own uniqueness. So can you look within yourself? Where is my strength? Where does my strength lies? Where does my strength lie? Then build on it. And lifelong learning is about having a growth mindset.
True.
It's about adaptability.
Honestly.
So if you have a growth mindset, you are inquisitive, you are curious, you want to learn. How come they are able to put ETI on this cup? So if that is your area, you are curious, you want to learn. You are not satisfied with where you are. You want to know more. There's that quest to be more. Look at what the scripture says, like as the PK here pointed out. Like, she gave us a good biblical perspective. The Bible talks about wisdom. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So are you striving for knowledge, or you are competing? You waste your time when you try to compete. So strive for knowledge, strive to learn, strive to be a better version of yourself. One thing that is key in lifelong learning is having growth mindset. And that when you sit down, when God gives you an access to meet somebody that you've not met before, what you should do is to have that growth mindset, open mindset, that you want to learn, regardless of the status or the cadre of that person. Sometimes some of us, we are where we are because we feel, I'm above this, but who is this person to speak? Do you know there are people that go to events, if they see the speakers, they will leave because they feel that, no, who is this person to teach me? But there are professors that go and sit in classes where people that are not up to professors lecture them. Why? Because they know that in this field, as far as this area is concerned, I don't know anything, but this is the person that is more learned. If not, why will a professor sit under a doctor or somebody that has not even attained that to learn? There are people that after getting to that cadre, they still go back to learn certain skills, and regardless of the qualification of that person, but they have identified that that's the area of strength of this person, and they learn. And that's why I talked earlier on about even learning from children. Sometimes we shut children up, we keep shutting them up, but there are certain attributes that we can learn even from children. And I hope that as we live through life, most times we talk about how life does not care about you. Just when you think I've overcome this problem, another one will happen. Life will not say, hi, this person was bereaved yesterday, or this person is an orphan, already she has lost her father and her mother. So I should be fair on her. Let me allow her. Let me go and take this person that has not lost anybody. It will still take somebody from that same family. You see how that people can just say life is unfair. It does not care about who you are or what you have gone through. So as you live through life, strive to learn, even in such circumstances. Try to learn lessons. That's why some people tell you that experience are best teachers. Some will tell you that no, I don't have to wait till it happened to me. As I have seen it has happened to Jemima,
That's
or
it.
Tusu thing has
observe it
happened to
though.
Sambo Solomon. I'm going to learn how to like guard myself. Okay, I can learn from other people's mistake. It doesn't have to happen to me.
Exactly.
So let's just have growth mindset, open our heart to learn and be better versions of
And
ourselves.
like you said earlier on, learning from anywhere is what helps. It even keeps your mental mind active. There are people that take breaks from learning. Okay, I'm done learning, let me just rest for a while. And then you hear others say, well, you know that the brain has grown cold. So we cannot learn much again. I have to fan it more.
They'll tell you 5 plus 5. You say, give me calculator.
Do you get
we left school
we left school. So when you left school, there was nothing you did to keep yourself active, to keep yourself relevant and important in whatsoever field you found yourself doing. They shouldn't be looking for someone that is relevant in this, and they only find people that are relevant in that. They should be looking for somebody relevant in 3 places, and they take you because you have made yourself important in all of these 3 fields. One thing I see parents being intentional in doing now is, I think when we're growing up, for every time we had long vacation, they always send us back to school to go for summer school. So we're learning during school. When it's break time, we're still learning again. But what I see parents being intentional in doing now is, once it's summertime, they enroll their children to learn different things. I have seen parents that enroll their children to learn music during summer break. I see others putting them in photography, putting them in something else that is different from the formal education. So if these children grow up with this notion, they will be able to do many other things. You can find a doctor that is good in photography. You can find a nurse that can also make hair. You can find an accountant that can also snap pictures and do makeup. Different
I
ideas.
know a doctor that does makeup.
Exactly. So if at any point something happens and you had to lose your job, you will not fall back to sitting and going round with brown envelopes, because you have something else to lean back on while you anticipate getting back on your feet. So that is the whole idea of lifelong learning. It shouldn't stop at any point, and then it shouldn't be focused on just one direction. Spread out
wide.
your net, and at the end of the day, you won't even find any point that you'll be staying at home and say, I'm bored. Why are you bored when you have 1,001 skills? And these are some of the things that also bring about many streams of income. Yes, I go to the hospital and treat patients. Yes, I do this other thing. Yes, I do. You do like 3, 4, 5, 6 different things. Tell me why you will be bored, and tell me why you will go around begging and asking for help here and there. You already have established yourself.
And there's another
in many
added
different
advantage.
areas.
Another added advantage to what you just said is that even if one crashes, you also have something to fall back
The
on.
effect does
You-
not
you-
hit
you are
that
not-
much.
You're not totally lost. Like, you don't have a clue what to do next. A lot of times in school, one of our lecturers always said this. He said, you're a communicator. You should know something about everything and be a master at something. So I know a lot of times we looked at it in the surface, maybe like just poking our nose into everybody's business and just being gossips. But no, it went far beyond that. We just did not fully grasp it. It meant that you are ready and open to learning everything that comes your way. So that tomorrow when you're asked of this field, you're able to stand up and be a rep in that place, because you know that this is what you do for a living. I'm a communicator. I communicate to people. If I find myself with a doctor, I should be able to communicate with the doctor. If I find myself with another journalist, I should be able to effectively communicate with that person. If I find myself with someone, an architect for instance, I should be able to communicate with the person. If I find myself before a pastor, I should be able to communicate with that person. But it also goes far more than that you need to open your mind to be learning constantly. Because one thing I've learned over time is that lessons is no respecter of circumstance. Lesson is no respecter of age. Lesson is no respecter of hierarchy. You learn at every point, at any point in time. So while I was serving, during my internship rather, one of the workers where I was working mentioned something one day. He just came in and he said, which one of you can type? And all of us were trying to hide. And then he said, I wish I was in your shoes where I could master skills like this as easily as I could when I was younger. Because right now I'm a kid. To even master these skills, my joints and all that, it's becoming stale. But I do my best. But right now I need this to be produced as quick as possible. So I need someone who would do it faster than I can do it. So if I were you, this is an opportunity for me to learn. And at that point, some of us were just trying to dodge work. Excuse me, we came out from school. Everybody thought that internship was a period to rest. So
Small.
When they start telling to go and buy granola.
In some organizations.
In some organizations.
I'm not here to buy granola.
I was lucky to be in an organization that will put you to work. Literally, they could just you could just come into the office and they'll tell you something like, okay, so today just source for news. That's what you're going to be doing, and you will source for news from the moment you are stepping your leg and you're sitting down. You source for news till you leave the office.
I remember coming to I should teach you my experience. I remember coming to a
lifelong experience.
I mean, do you know when I went? I had to go and write on my status 8 to 6 p.m. Then my coursemate just related because that was the day we all started IT. I just put 8 to 6 p.m. when people were going 11 and closing 12. I was asking myself, did they employ me? I'm here for IT. That even contract staff were closing 4 and me, I'm closing 6. You see work.
but you see the difference is that when you went back with your mates, you had an edge because you
so
learned.
imagine those that were closing 4 and you now
See,
you're not in the
what-
same
what-
band
what-
that
what-
seen me now.
and you see
But
what she said.
It has paid off.
How did it pay off?
Wow.
Because
It
you
has-
are where you
okay,
are
okay,
today.
Let me say
Carry
this.
mic, add your volume, announce.
Let me say this. At least I can say
See the
something.
people that have been putting me through.
you see, what she went through. Yes, it's not easy because it's not every young person at that age, at that time, that's what they want. You understand? But like the issue of pain that I said, look at the pain that she went through. Look at the result now. So you see, do you know that sometimes some of us even forgot?
Their result, oh.
Wait,
Don't get it twisted.
yes, she like the way always she, you understand.
always attacking us,
So
yeah.
what am I trying to say? This is the point. Sometimes some of us even forget that she was a copper. Like
And IT.
an IT, sorry, IT student. So in your mind, you even see her like you are employed together. Sometimes I don't remember that it was IT. Do you see? That is how we work together then. And I know people that in this particular state, Plateau State, there are some organizations that are being pinpoint. Like people deliberately will tell you, this is where I want to go and do my IT. Why? Because all you need to do is to just go and write your name and go. And you will see people rushing. That's where they want to go. You see the issue of choice that I talk about. Because they have their own reason why they and some people will tell you, no, if it's not NTA, if it's not this place, if it's not Equa TV, it's not this, I'm not serving because I don't want to waste my time. You see? So all that we are saying is just the issue of you being deliberate in whatever you want to do. And you see, when you allow yourself to go through that kind of pain, at the end of the day, that's when you sit down and relax and begin to see the result. And when you are seeing the result of that, it doesn't mean that you are relaxing because you are already subscribing to another pain. to already add up because you are waiting for the result ahead. That's why the Bible says he who does not walk should not eat.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
You know, my lecturer used to say, one of my lecturer, that he'll come to class and he'll say, what I'm teaching is knowledge for life. It's not cramming, come and writing exams. Then as his lecturer, he will now say, the title of the course is the summary of the course. The course itself is the expansion of the title. You may write this. And one day I was telling my course mates that now that exam is approaching, is this one that will go and write an exam? He will say, as communicators, we are not politicians, but we are in politics. You may write this.
Yo.
I will not say, that's what we'll be writing. Funny enough,
Punchline.
he's trying to teach you how to apply knowledge. Like, in exams, you will see he will put question number 1. As communicators, we are not politicians, but we are in politics. Expatiate.
I had a lecturer like
How do you want to copy this one?
So you see,
You
he
must
wants
have
to
attended.
engage
Copy
you.
it now.
He wants to
I
engage
remember
your
him
mind.
telling us how that he met one of his old students, and then the student was like, "Hey, sir, good afternoon. I'm your student back then, University of Jos, Primary Mass Communication." He said, "Me, I don't know you." And the person said, "Sir, the title of the course is the summary of the course. The course itself is the expansion of the title." He said, "Yes, you are my student." So, like, I remember how I'll keep thinking, how can I come and answer exams? But no, in the truth, he's just pushing you to think beyond where you are actually. And honestly, some of this knowledge for life, some of the lecturers that took the pain to teach us knowledge for life,
took the pain.
today we are seeing the result. Earlier before the show, we were talking about someone that, I remember Jemima was mentioning how that this lady is actually good in what she does, but something is actually lacking. And these are things that have to do with knowledge for life. See, you can be good as far as your skill is concerned if your character is deficient. If there's something wrong with your character, your behavior, your attitude, then that can make you stagnated in life. Because people will not want to do things with you. Just like there's the saying, you be like flat tire, you cannot move anywhere until that is actually fixed. Knowledge for life help you to relate well with people. It help you to relate better, lifelong learning. Because you know that, since this person is from this place, this person is from that place, there's this actually unique. So in how I relate to this person, I'll be considerate. It is knowledge, lifelong learning that helps you to attain that. It's like Jemima said earlier, it's not just about an aspect like formal learning, but even informal. Like as we relate with people, we learn. As we interact with people, we learn. As we travel to places, we learn. We learn cultures. We learn how people relate with one another, and it opens our eyes to a lot of things. That's why some people tell you that there's certain way that some people behave and say this person is not exposed, brought up here. He didn't move beyond this place. Back then in school, our lecturer say, if you know you're from Plateau, stand up. And you stand up, you are thinking he's going to hit you, and he's a Plateau man. Stand up joyfully, all of us proudly Plateau. Stand up. You say, all of you are the problem of this country. How?
I'll just sit
Your primary school, yes, secondary school, you're still here, you will not go out.
Born bread and butter.
And you say, and I know some of you still want to serve in Plateau State. In fact, you people, he just insulted us and said, sit down. I said, who asked me to stand up now? And this man is from Plateau State to say he abused us, that we don't know that we're supposed to go out and all of that. And but that is him talking about exposure.
Of course.
That is another form of learning. There are people that you hear them talk and you can just see that this person is not exposed. Like you have been caged in your own circle, your own culture, your own community, your family, and you think that is what should be obtainable everywhere. And that's why when you go out and somebody reacts in certain way, you fight with the person because you think that everybody must behave the way your own people or your village people are behaving. But if you are exposed, you understand that everybody's context affects their behaviors and their attitude. I remember telling you how that there's somebody that behaves like a young lady, and I first I used to get angry with the person, like when I see the person behave, because courtesy demand that when you see two people talking that has nothing to do with you, you don't have business to
Of course.
or you are in public, you don't chew gum and all of this. There are certain things that are courtesy, and I was like, this person does not know that this is courtesy. And I was the same person that told Mr. Soul that, at some point I had to excuse this person's behavior because I have an understanding that this person's context have impacted on him or her. So exposure is another form of lifelong learning. It's just important that we open our mind. Let's also, it's also key to be adaptable. Don't say, that is how we are taught, that is how we are brought up, that is how it is my life. Someone say, it is my life, I own my life, that have led us to this point of irresponsibility littered everywhere. You owe somebody explanation. I mean, God did not create you to be rude to people. If the Bible says we are created in the image and likeness of God, are we truly his image? How we live our lives, how we relate with people, our inability to be open to learn, is that the image of God?
Joyce, quickly, I just want to add to what he said. When people say, when people close their mind to certain things, and then they don't want to learn, they don't want to adapt, you understand? And sometimes it baffles me. And when you see them talking proudly, you know, like exposing their ignorance with pride, you understand? And I sometimes I said, okay, if that's what you hold to be your totality, madam, sir, in those days, we know of donkeys, camels, and then trekking. And we know that they don't use clothes. Yes, now, can we adopt that?
Continue living
And
with
just
them.
continue, yes, if that's what you hold, let's see you practicing that. Let's see you trekking. That means there's no room for change, for anything, for any improvement or anything.
Yeah,
You understand?
It's actually
so I
makes
don't
you
think is a reason. If you have that kind of mentality, I think you should rethink, because that's not how God created us.
Or you
And-
hear, I know, but in the true sense of
the
the
person
person
had
does
no
not even
idea.
know.
He
He said,
doesn't-
you
he
need
has
to put
no
this.
idea.
Yes, you need to put this. And I know.
I know.
Kene king gamu aiki now.
He doesn't know.
Like I have a colleague that will tell Kene king gamu.
and they get
Do you understand? But
pride.
that is the point of ignorance.
Pride comes
They
before
get
a-
pride.
They get very
Pride.
offended.
Kene king gamu.
A
We
lecturer,
know them.
a lecturer of mine will say something like this. He would say, "Look at them, old people marketing their ignorance." And this is literally him talking about highly placed people who are doing something that you could classify as stupid. And he says this is people marketing their ignorance, because they would tell you, and I know what I'm saying. I
saying
know
it.
what I am
Yeah,
doing.
I know.
You'll be like,
I
wow.
know what. You
But-
ask the person a follow-up question. The person say, I was thinking. Which one is I was thinking?
But-
You
but-
don't know. You will not man up and chest.
But
But
you
pride
see-
will not allow you to learn.
Exactly.
Kene king kwamu.
And this is why certain people. So, for instance, I had this lecturer who chose a project topic for his students, and he said, "You know why I chose this project topic? Because I don't have any idea about it, and I want us to learn together." So they did the projects together, literally, and they were learning together through the process. "Oh no, I read this and I read that. I think you should add it into your project."
I
to
can imagine
do that."
students of nowadays bringing topic that
They would do
you
They will
enter their
bring
black
topics that they have complete material.
before you submit the project
Exactly.
topic, you go and look for who have written first.
Exactly. and at the end of the day, he said, "You know why I enjoyed doing your project? Because I knew that you were doing it yourself. I knew that you were building yourself, and we were learning through this together. I could see your effort in it, and that is why I applaud you for that." At the end of the day, both of them gained something. So that is one thing. We talked about how you need to be very open-minded if you really want to learn in this life. It, as I said earlier, learning is no respecter of person, hierarchy. It does not care who you are. Don't even say, "Do you know who I am that you're telling me?" Are you
Somebody
trying
told
to
me
teach
Prudence
me?
recently that she's schooling. I actually gave her some. She's a fashion designer. I gave her work to do, and I was like, "Oh, I will need this to study." And she said, "Hey, let me see the possibility because I'm doing this." And I said, "What is it?" And she said she has gone back to school. She said, "Top." Like she was telling me, like reluctantly, "Top, you know, I've gone back to that." Like, yeah, you should be proud of that. I said, "You know the
Why are you
beauty of
hiding
school.
it?
You know the
Honestly.
beauty. It doesn't matter your age. At any, I said that's the beauty of learning and education.
Exactly.
Like it's your age, it does not matter. Last year we saw how that is 76-year or 70-something year old, or is it 60-something, graduated from University of Jos and with a first class. So there's no age. So at any time you can engage, just humble yourself. A lot of times why people don't engage in lifelong learning is because of pride. You think, who is this person to teach me? But there's something you can learn even from your subordinates. Don't think because you're occupying the position and you think that, my subordinate cannot tell me this, for the fact that I am heading this, that means I know up and above everybody under me. And that's why I always tell people, you miss it when you think like that, because embedded in everyone is greatness. There's something that this person will see that you did not see. Probably not because you don't know in some cases, but you are overwhelmed with a lot of things. But that person has little compared to what you have on your table. So he can see something, and so why not give it a chance? So it's just important that we know that learning, there's no age to learning. There is no restriction as far as learning is concerned. Just have that open mind. Be ready, be curious, be inquisitive. Try to know. Don't allow pride stand in the way of you learning. When you engage in lifelong learning, you are relevant. When you engage in lifelong learning, people want to do things with you. And even if you have attained certain knowledge 10, 20 years ago, know that things are evolving. So what is obtainable now? Learn it, adapt to it. There are technologies even in what you used to do in 1999. So how can I apply to do better? That's why I talked about learning, lifelong learning, about learning, unlearning, and relearning.
It is a lifelong process. Just like you said, if something is done in a better way, why won't you want to learn it? The way you're doing it will take a longer route to get to the desired result. But if there is a shorter way, you should be willing, happily go and learn. But of course, you don't have to use pride in that. Oh no, you shouldn't be. You went to learn. Why are you challenging the person teaching you? Thank you so much, Solomon Sambo, Joyce
This
Jakada.
thank you is like, don't add anything.
I understand.
Prudence. Before she says I forgot her. Thank you, Prudence.
Look,
I did not just come to register my presence today.
Today, right? Like yesterday.
but did you learn something?
Oh, obviously.
Lifelong, we mean.
Lifelong. We always learn. And I think that's one of the joys of today's life. Is like, even as a presenter on today's life, you are always learning.
It's continuous.
So it's really something that we should carry on
Anytime you
every
pick
day.
something, you buy something for all of us.
Exactly. Do you get? So immediately after the show,
Thank you so much. I
let's meet
appreciate you. Thank you so much for staying with us today.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. You know, like I said earlier on, I don't do this alone. We're all doing this together. Hope you learned that lifelong learning is a continuous process. It never stops. There is no point that you pause to take a break. You continue to learn just so that you can remain relevant in that field that you are. Is it a job? Is it your personal business? You have to keep learning. That is why people go to school to have upgrade classes, come back and become better versions of themselves. Thank you so much for doing this with us until we come your way another day with amazing discussions. Do have a nice day.